Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Aries. If Aries is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Okay, and let's see, what do these tea leaves have to say tonight? Looks like we have a lot going on. A lot of thinking, maybe some anxieties. And this maybe makes a little bit of sense. We have for our card tonight the Death card. Which, let me just say, I absolutely am not a fan of this Death card. I'm just gonna show you. It reminds me of something like Pirates of the Caribbean or something, like this weird skeleton pirate or something. It seems kind of silly, but you know, the colors are nice at least. And the archetype of death, okay? It can be scary. And of course, in pop culture, the Death card in tarot is the one that you always pull and it's like, oh, something terrible is going to happen. Well, I happen to think that the Death card, the Hanged Man, the Wheel of Fortune, usually these cards should be pretty welcomed. Only because it is the beginning of clearing blockages, getting rid of things out of our life that should not be there, out of situations that are often detrimental to our progress. Now, are we always ready for these things to end? No, not necessarily. It might feel, terrible, actually. But we learn to trust the universe, or at least, that is part of the work. The ultimate goal. Okay, so let's see. We have, and this looks so much like the crone archetype here. We have a person wearing maybe a skirt or dress, kind of a little bit kind of scrunched up, if you know, of kind of like the Baba Yaga, or let's shout out to Baba Yaga. I love Baba Yaga. What is her name? The Hansel and Gretel, the old woman that kind of lives out in the woods. She's maybe a witch. She's, luring kids out there or whatever's going on. This kind of archetype of the old, wise, kind of scary. Not really sure exactly what's going on with this lady. But usually, these are the women that carry, the secrets of the tribe, the oral traditions, have relationships with the plant intelligences, the fae, all of the different kinds of creatures that live out in the woods and that place in between. These are medicine women, shaman, holy beings. But they know things that are scary to the collective. They walk in places that are terrifying. This is not unlike a psychopomp, and a psychopomp are entities and often god forms that usher us into a place like the underworld, where we go to be judged, to decide where we go in our death. You can think of maybe like Anubis, the jackal-headed Egyptian deity. This is a psychopomp that takes you to have your soul weighed. And so this crone is not unlike, you know, and also, you know, this is kind of a patron of the othered, the alienated, the weird. We know well, anyway, supposedly, and I'm not going to pronounce or try to, the word weird comes from, but weird related to the idea or the etymology of the word witch. And so this, again, a fringe, not really understood being. Now, is this you, or is this kind of just the cycle that you're in? I don't know. Maybe you're always this person, you know. And maybe, and if you are, then maybe we're friends, because this is me as well. Definitely. But, you know, I think more than not, when I see this type of archetype, I think of going through a cycle in your life where you are letting go of old concepts of self. Who you once were, the things you did long ago, the things that make you feel shame, where you feel like, oh, I piddled away years of my life chasing this thing, doing this thing, being this person, and lamenting it. Okay? Thinking about, you know, whatever it is. Maybe you did somebody wrong. Maybe somebody did you wrong. Maybe you identify with something that was important when you were young, and as you've grown and changed and lived, you know, many lives in between, this is no longer really part of you. It's part of the self-mythology, but it could be a whole other person. You may even wonder, was that ever really a thing? I mean, is this just a story that you tell yourself? But whatever it is, there's a sense of letting go of these outmoded, you know, of no use parts of self or things that we identify with. And you are there, you are letting go of some of that stuff. Okay? You have been in a process of healing. You've been in a process of I think acceptance, you know, finding what really is important to you, figuring out how you're going to make that happen. And all this other stuff is just stuff. And letting it go. Moving on. And only taking with you that which supports this evolution. Only taking with you the people who support this evolution. We all have people from our old lives that cannot understand, or they can't get past the idea they have of us. You know, they knew us at some point. They saw whatever, they experienced whatever part of us This is what's locked into their memory, and this is how they choose to keep it, right? And that's fine, whatever. It's maybe a little bit lazy, you know? But we all have, you know, we all kind of have that with different people, especially people who aren't core to our lives. But, you know, there are people who will treat you like this, even if they are constantly in your life. You know, family is a big one. They don't want to necessarily see you as anything but what they remember you as, you know, at some point in your life. And, you know, this is a lot of work to continue to abide that relationship and how they treat you and how they envision you. And when you change, oh, you're, you know, such a different person, or this isn't really you, or, you know, whatever it is. Limited. These kinds of people are limited. And, you know, sometimes they begin to fall away. And that can be hard. That is hard work. It can be heartbreaking. It is you know, there is a feeling of grieving. I think this happens also with like places that we go. You know, if you are a creature of habit and you have certain places you like to be, maybe you've kind of stayed in the same area you grew up in. As you are changing as a person, as you are evolving as a person, it just doesn't feel like home anymore. You know, you are called to go other places. Maybe you dream of living somewhere else, experiencing something different. Maybe it's time. Sometimes we have to just let the old things die. You know, stop trying to keep them going. Stop carrying them around with us. Sometimes we just need permission from somebody. And I give you permission. And I say do it. Do the thing. Become the person. Be the other thing. Try something else. Listen, you don't have to do it all the time. It could be a dalliance. It could be, you know, you're just trying on different personas. Maybe you want to move across the country and change your name and, you know, whatever for a couple years. Do it. Listen, life is short. There are no real rules to all this. The other day, my daughter told me, oh, that's made up, Mom. Something's made up. I was like, hey, kid, everything is made up. It's all made up. It's every freaking thing is made up. And that's what's awesome about life. It only means as much as we put into it. So you're in control of how you perceive, how you live, what you do with your time. So act accordingly. And I'm just seeing we have little birds. You know, I feel like there's anxiety here. Mostly just because there's so much spread out. But I think that the universe is really in touch with you. I feel like you feel kind of separate from everything. You're kind of just in your own little bubble. You're doing your thing. And, you know, I feel like there's an energy of letting go of old things. But also, I see a person here with their hand raised, kind of reaching up into the universe. And here we have kind of a dog figure. And I feel like we have a new friend coming into your life. I think that you're going to make a new connection with either another human, or maybe this is like an animal companion. But I feel like there's going to be a real strong soul bond here. So where you have felt apart from most, there is now room for something ultra meaningful. Okay, and that is, you know, the beauty of life. That is the beauty of the great balance. Okay, sometimes we have to clear everything out so we can bring in something more, right? Sometimes we have to get rid of all of the little fragments of stuff so that we can find something, you know, maybe it's not a lot of things, but something, one thing, very important. And now you have room for that. Okay? I also see, and this one's really beautiful to me, we have this beautiful full circle, dense sense of completeness and self. I feel like you trust yourself more than you ever have. You're not relying on anybody else's opinion. You're not relying on anybody else's whims. You are on your own time. You are doing your own thing. You're making your decisions, and you feel good about that. I wonder if you haven't had relationships or a relationship in the past where somebody made you feel like you really had to question yourself. Maybe that you know, were a bad person. You wanted things that you shouldn't. You desired things that maybe you shouldn't. But the reality is that was their weakness and their need to control how you perceived yourself. And that has fallen away. Okay? You once again know and understand yourself. And it's not in relation to anybody else, which is so powerful. Are you still many things? Yes. Do you still have the relations with other people and other things? Yes. But you are also just yourself and everything. So, what will you do with that? What will you do with that? Okay. So we have, and this light is just, I don't know why it's so bright lately. I gotta tinker with this camera stuff. I don't know what the heck is going on. All right, so we have the lightness of being affirmation cards, and these are the earth elements. And actually, no. Actually, I'm taking that back. This is not the right one for this reading. I'm gonna make a lot of noise here. I'm sorry, I got the wrong ones here. I forgot we were beginning the new cycle. So, here we go. We have, these are the gratitude little deck of appreciation. That's the one I'm going to do this time. So I'm just going to bring these up here, and we're going to stop where it feels right. We have a beautiful little sun, and it says, choose happiness. You can always decide to focus on the good over the bad. I mean, yeah. It seems simple enough, right? I should have thought of that. Yeah, but you know what? It is all about perception, and it's about what we spend our time thinking about, what we let into ourselves. You know, and focusing on the happy things, the gratitude, the little beauties. Just realizing how blessed we are in so many aspects of. I try to think today. I was thinking, you know what, I can't believe how many cool things my body does. It keeps me alive and going. Does it hurt sometimes? Yes. Yes. But I really just need to be so thankful that I am that I wake up in the morning. I have another day. Not, you know, maybe not a whole day. I don't know when it's going to end, but you know, for the time that I have, I am thankful, and I'm thankful that my body is showing up for me. You know, I don't always treat it the best, but it still is here, and we are, you know, we're doing this thing. So, yeah, let's find little things to be appreciative of and find that little happiness where we can. Okay, Aries, I'm going to say thank you, thank you, thank you. If you'd be so kind as to like the video, it helps us get into the algorithm. And the algorithm definitely influences what happens with the channel, with how the videos do and all of that. So we like to give the algorithm the engagement that it wants. And that is things like liking the video, watching the readings from the beginning to the end, sharing the readings on other social media platforms. Other than that, if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing so. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. And if you want to leave a comment, please do that as well. I love reading them all, and I do reply back to all of them. So sometimes it takes me a day or two, maybe 3 once in a while, not usually. But honestly, being able to get to know some of you, know how you're doing, what's going on with you, how you resonate with the readings, and so on, it makes it all worth it for me. I really energetically feel very connected to a lot of people here. And if that were not the case, I don't know that I would continue to do so many I mean, you know, 2, 3, 4 readings publicly on top of the other ones a day, 7 days a week. So, you know, it takes a lot of love from me and from you, and that connection grows, and I'm here. I'm invested. So, yeah. All right, Aries, we will talk in just a few days, and I love you, and yeah.